Hey guys. Hey guys, it's Allie back with Awakening with Allie, and I have such an incredible guest for y'all today. I am so excited. I am learning so much about this subject and this incredible science that Tom Paladino has tapped into. And so, yes, that is my guest today. I have the incredible Tom Paladino. And before I bring him fully on the show, I want to tell you guys a little bit more about him in case you haven't heard of him, because this is really, truly mind blowing. So, Tom Paladino of Scalar Energy is the fundamental life force found everywhere in the world, space, and universe. It originates from the sun and stars. Chi, prana, om, mana, life force, pyramid energy, or 0 point energy are synonymous terms for scalar energy. He began research with scalar energy during his undergraduate years. He was inspired by various scientists like Nikola Tesla, who was a genius who invented alternating current, and he was curious to learn more about the existence of an energy that was not of the electromagnetic spectrum. He pursued a course of independent study in order to better understand and subsequently harness scalar energy as the emerging science and is not taught at the university level. One of his scientific predecessors was Dr. T. Galen Hieronymus, is that right?
That's right.
One of the few scalar energy researchers in the United States in the last century. And he read Galen's notes and used his scalar energy instruments after his death. And he theorized all energy in the universe, initiating a scalar energy, and that the sun of our solar system and the stars of the universe are the points of origin, the storehouses for scalar energy. He further theorized that scalar energy is instructive energy, as the entire universe is instructed by this divine essence. Subsequently, all spiritual, cognitive, emotional, and physical action in the universe is initiated and maintained by scalar energy instructions. Scalar energy provides order in our universe. Based on these theories and the work of scientists who came before Tom, he was able to develop scalar energy instruments capable of harnessing and transmitting instructive energy to heal human subjects by the way of their photograph. And you can think of this almost as similar to a radio broadcast, with instruments as the broadcaster and your quantum body as the receiver. The difference is that the energy transmitted is not just electromagnetic, it is therefore immeasurable by traditional science. And his instruments have provided guaranteed, fast, harmless, and painless treatment processes that have successfully healed patients with quantum illnesses such as HIV-viral disease, Ebola, herpes, hepatitis, Lyme disease, tuberculosis, malaria, the list goes on. Over 400,000 pathogens are identified and subsequently disassembled by way of this unique scalar energy protocol, you guys. These scalar light instruments administer the scalar energy reverse phase angle harmonic of a pathogen, thereby causing that agent of infection to disassemble or fall apart. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoan can all be disassembled, representing a cure or prevention for thousands of diseases. Once the causative agent of a pathogen disease has been eliminated, the symptoms associated with that infection decrease or disappear altogether. And you guys, Tom Paladino, like I said, is the scalar energy researcher. He is based in Florida, and we're going to get into all things scalar light. But you guys, he has also offered you an amazing offer, which will be in the show notes, which is 15 days free to experience scalar light sessions to anyone listening and watching. So I highly recommend you check that out. I have been experiencing some, and they're quite incredible. So that will be in the show notes. Tom, that was quite the intro, but we had to get that all out there to really explain things to people. Welcome to Awakening with Allie.
Thank you for the introduction, Allie. Well done. You're quite articulate.
I kind of read that over quite a few times. I was like, I'm going to either mess up a name or something scientific that I don't know yet.
You did a great job. Thank you.
So excited to have you here. So why don't you tell a little bit more about you and like why you were so intrigued and drawn to scalar energy. I know, of course, I mentioned in the bio about Nikola Tesla. I've studied him. He's quite fascinating, obviously quite the genius. But what drew you? Like, what was it about it that made you dive further in, especially since it's not something that's really studied out there?
You're right. It's not. It's poorly understood. It's an esoteric subject. It's the future. Scalar energy is free energy. It's clean energy. It's the future of mankind. This is going to change the world. Nikola Tesla saw it. He developed free energy instruments. I have free energy instruments. What do I mean by that? It's the energy of the sun and the stars. You don't create scalar energy. It exists. It's universal energy. Some people call it life force energy or 0 point energy. What many people understand, at least philosophically, that there's another type of energy, ki, mana, prana, life force energy. Some people call it pyramid energy. They're right. There's another energy that's just not electricity and magnetism. So this other type of energy is from the sun and the stars. It's an unlimited supply of energy. It's clean. It's a game changer.
Wow. I mean, for people that, don't really know Nikola Tesla or know much about his story, what would you say that was so intriguing to you and why you wanted to, study what he was into?
Yeah, I studied Tesla a great deal and then Hieronymus. Those are two scalar energy experts. And the key is this: both men developed scalar energy instruments in which they can control intelligence, what some people might call consciousness. So when you have these scalar energy instruments, you can access star energy, which is star intelligence, which is the intelligence of the universe. And once you access that information, it's like a universal information system. It's quite a tool. It's incredible what you can do with universal information. That is what a scalar energy instrument is. You're able to access consciousness or universal intelligence.
Wow, fascinating. And I know you want to show, you have the actual picture of the instrument to show what it looks like for those that are curious.
Yeah, this is one of the scalar energy instruments that I work with. Now, these are custom built instruments. And what's pertinent is this is not an electrical instrument. We're not using electricity or magnetism. I actually take photographs of people and I place photographs of people inside that instrument. That instrument creates a local scalar energy environment. It's not an electromagnetic environment. And when your photograph is inside that environment, that scalar energy environment, it's entirely different. Work, frankly, in a different reality. I work in a scalar energy reality. And because of that, it's a different physics. It's a different rule book, so to speak. There are different laws and principles. So I'm working outside of the space-time continuum. I am beyond time and space. I'm in a different dimension.
Wow, so cool. For people that are listening that are like, what, this sounds so, crazy, like how could that work? Like, what would you say to someone who is, more of a skeptic or is, kind of new to this world and just kind of diving in?
I don't blame people for being a skeptic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame people for being skeptical. This has never been done before, with the exception of Tesla, Hieronymus, and a few other inventors. So these are unique instruments. And the best way that I could convince people would be to read the testimonies of people around the world. There has to be some merit. We've received thousands of testimonies from people around the world. So that in itself is the beginning body of evidence, the body of knowledge. Now, I'm quick to point out, there is no protocol for what I'm doing. I am the pioneer. There is no scientific protocol. You cannot prove what I'm doing yet. There are no other scientists who are on this path. So I'm the only one who's been able to prove it thus far. Do I think it can be corroborated in the future? Yes, but nobody's stepped forward to do so. So with that in mind, it's all a grassroots effort. It's all about people and how people feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And being open to it, right? Being open to doing something different that is, not the quote unquote norm, like you said, and you're outside of, time and space and the dimension that, we're supposedly in, you're doing things outside of that box.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is all groundbreaking. I realize it's quite different, when you say that I can take a photograph and make an impression upon that photograph. I can. If I hold up my photograph has my signature. That's my light signature. And my instrument can actually read the information on a photograph and either enhance that signal or get out or prevent it or disassemble or cure it. So what am I getting at? A photograph of a person allows this instrument to lock into, to identify your need for vitamins and minerals. We can actually create vitamins and minerals. We do all of that in the quantum field. It's all by way of information. So we're beyond physicality. This is non-physical. It's a perfect information system that will create vitamins and minerals by information.
Wow, so cool. So
Yeah.
you also do pets and, not just people. You can do children, you
Yes.
can do pets. I mean, really, correct me if I'm wrong, but anything that really truly has a life essence that is in a photograph, you can put in that
Right.
instrument.
You're right. For instance, my friends from Hawaii have been sending me photographs of the ohia tree, O-H-I-A, ohia tree. That tree is suffering from a plant fungus. And we're able to take photographs of the ohia tree, identify the plant fungus, and then break it apart, eradicate the plant fungus.
Wow.
So if I can treat the trees in Hawaii by way of my instrument, my predecessor treated the astronauts by way of their photographs, the Apollo 11 astronauts by way of their photograph while they were orbiting the moon. My point is you can access a person's quantum field anywhere. We're not accessing per se the person, we're accessing their quantum field, or we're accessing the quantum field of a tree or that of an animal. So this is the new science in which time and space are avoided. We transcend time and space, where we can access anything in an instant.
Wow. So fascinating. So you say this is, the future, this science is the future.
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Well, it's free energy. Let's take the fact that if this is free energy from the stars, we don't have to dig for coal. We don't need wind turbines. We certainly don't need nuclear reactors. Nikola Tesla developed energy towers, scalar energy towers that simply extracted star energy. Tesla was able to tap into star power, and he was able to power various devices with star energy, not with any need for any type of oil or gas or any type of nuclear reactor. So this is the free energy of the stars, meaning we will overcome, we will eventually solve the energy crisis. We don't have to produce energy. The stars are producing all the energy we need.
Wow. So basically, it's already there for us. It's already available. We're just
Yes.
choosing kind of to make our lives harder with all the extra resources we're using.
Yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And to some extent, this is a suppressed technology. Tesla was
Sure.
able to tap into star power. Now, all we have to do is repeat his experiments, duplicate what Tesla did. Tesla was on the verge of ending the energy crisis, but his technology was suppressed.
Right, of course, because of money and all the different things that come into control and power within that space.
Right, correct. But we're going to overcome that. You will see in your lifetime free energy. And
Wow,
you will
that's
not have an
amazing.
energy crisis. We will no longer have an energy crisis.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Why do you think other scientists haven't tapped into this the way you have? I mean, I understand that it's not, something obviously that's spoken about as much, but there's got to be other people that are awakened and more curious and intuitive like yourself. I'm curious, have you met any among your studies that are like anywhere near wanting to further bring this to humanity?
No, and I don't quite understand. Now, perhaps it's because this is a lifelong journey. I've been at this for 50 years. This is
Wow.
difficult. Now, keep in mind, and I say this quite frankly, there's no paycheck. This is a new technology. 100 years ago, there was not a paycheck if you were in the computer industry or
Sure.
you were in telecommunications, or maybe just started, right? There certainly wasn't a computer or a satellite 100 years ago. So what's the point? When a new industry starts, there's no insurance. There's no guarantee of an income. There's no guarantee of security. So we're still at that formative stage. And once this becomes a viable industry, sure, you'll have many people involved.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's kind of like the spirituality space, right? All of a sudden we see all these people jumping into it because they're realizing it's a place where you can essentially make money, because that's kind of where we're going as a collective, and the consciousness and everything that's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It'll catch on. It's right now it's grassroots.
Yeah, that's so amazing though that
But
you're
I
on
know
the
with people like
beginning
you and
end.
your spirited attitude, you're right. It's I'm a pioneer. This is the vanguard movement.
Yeah. Yeah, so true. So when you get these stories and these testimonials, Tom, of people telling you, like, I'm cured of this, and I'm feeling better from this. Is it like, was it surreal for you when you first really tapped into this, to see the actual changes and shifts that were happening with people?
Initially, I was thunderstruck because even though I understood it in theory, I never expected that the what many people claim to be a medical cure was so quick and so easy. What am I getting at? These instruments can seek out a germ, a microbe, and destroy it. Let's say I had herpes. My photograph would be able to detect the presence of herpes, send energy into the quantum field, and destroy the herpes virus. Well, if you
Wow.
destroy the herpes virus, it's eliminated. You've cured it. You've transmuted it. You've disassembled it. But keep in mind, my work is exclusively with photographs. I'm not people field because I never work with people. So after working with a photograph, people have to tell me if this has been any benefit. So I cannot right now make the immediate connection between the photograph and the person. That's a theory. Nobody's proven that. Well, much like so many theories in science, we're still trying to prove it. So where do we stand right now? I can guarantee that if I can detect the herpes virus in a force field, my photograph is a force field, I can destroy the herpes virus. But then I have to rely upon people in the real world to tell me if indeed that happened.
Right. That it actually shifted what you worked on with that instrument. So fascinating.
Keep in mind, there's two theories. Electromagnetic.
And why a photograph? Like, why?
So there's two ways of looking at reality. That's what I'm saying. You can look at
I lost you for a moment there. Are you back? There we go. I lost you for a moment there. Technical difficulties. I always joke whenever we're having powerful conversations and like having these like mind blowing, I swear, always. And I'm like, oh, it's got to be the energy, like what you were just saying, the suppression. Like every time on my show, and it's like certain conversations never fails.
Yeah. I think there's merit to that.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were saying, so why a photograph? Like why, like why is that the way to work with the quantum field and this instrument? Like why not something else?
Okay. Yeah. What is a photograph? It's the exact copy of a person. So I'm not working with people, I'm working with their quantum copy. And this is the way the instruments are designed. The instruments are designed to pick up emanations or some type of energy field from a photograph. So we don't work with people. I've never worked with biological life. I never work with people or animals or plants. I work with photographs of people, animals, and plants. And the copy of that person is always on the photograph, meaning what? My photograph captures my soul, mind, and body, the energetic field. So
Mm.
we're working with the quantum field. We're not working with biological life. So this is the key now. So when we're accessing the energy on a photograph, it's quantum life, not biological life. And within this sphere of influence, scalar energy, we can change the quantum signal. So we can enhance, such as a vitamin or a mineral that we need, we can enhance that signal, or we can negate, say, a virus or a bacterium in the quantum field.
Wow.
My photograph is my mirror-like image. It's as if I'm looking in a mirror. I'm not working with the person, I'm working with the image in the mirror. That's how the quantum field works. So again, this is not required that a person be present, because your quantum field is everywhere. So if I were working with an electromagnetic instrument, you'd have to be physically present. I don't work with people. I work with their energy field, which is everywhere, because the energy, scalar energy, is holographic. It fills the universe. So you see where we're going with this. You don't
Yeah.
have to be present. All we need is your photograph.
Yeah. Well, it's just so fascinating because it's we're all energy, right? Like, and I think more and more people are starting to um wake up to
Yes.
that more or become more conscious of that because of the way things are shifting in the world. It's like, oh, we're recognizing like we've always been energy. And so what you're speaking to with the photograph, that actually makes a lot of sense because it's like you don't need to be there present. It doesn't need to be your physical form because it's actually the energy, the life essence of you that you're tapping into in the quantum
Yes.
field, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So what is the common denominator of everything in the universe? Energy, light.
Mm.
Energy, light creates everything. We all go back to light. Now, after we have that imprint, after we have those light instructions, then so many things evolve. Creation evolves in complexity. But you go back to the simple source, the fundamental source, it's always light. It's always God's light. So I don't worry about biochemical processes. I don't worry about tissue. I don't worry about blood pressure. I go back to the source of information, the source of light, the God energy, and I work from the source. That's the key.
Wow. So it's so fascinating when you get into it and share it. It makes a ton of sense when you break it down. But I'm not going to lie, even for me, it was like, wow. It was like, wow, I was blown away when I was reading and understanding it for having you on, was like, wow, like, how does this really work? And even I feel like I'm more awakened and more open. And it's like for someone else listening, right? That maybe this is brand new to them. It's like, whoa, what is this really? You know?
Yes. You're absolutely right. So I have Tesla instruments, instruments that access another dimension. This is not electricity. I'm actually working in a different reality, a different dimension.
Yeah. So it's just, it's, I guess, in a way, I guess because the way we've been taught and conditioned and programmed, it's surreal in a lot of ways because it's like, wait, but that's not what I thought I was, or, how this works, or because of obviously all the, medicine that's been around us for so long, thinking that, you have to take, this in order to equal this being better and all these different things. It's really hard for so many to wrap their brain around the fact that like it doesn't have to be that difficult. You really can tap into your own energy and your own quantum field to be able to heal this and, like you said,
Yes.
transmute it and shift it and move on.
And people do that every day through prayer, meditation, through their emotions, through positive thinking. I've always said the mind, the human mind, and the human heart are scalar energy vessels. When we think, it's a brainwave of scalar energy. When we feel, when we have an emotion, it's an emotional wave, if you will, of scalar energy.
Mm.
Thinking and feeling are scalar waves. They are manifestations of scalar intelligence.
Wow. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense when you talk about that on the emotional level and like the emotional wave of scalar energy. It's true. And you're right. I mean, I think we're realizing, especially in this time right now, how powerful the mind always was, but now especially how powerful it is, and being able to tap into that. And I've seen that even in my own life of like when I went through my postpartum depression after becoming a mom, everyone wanted me to get on, prescription and this, that, and the other thing. It just didn't resonate for me and I didn't want to. And it took me obviously a little bit longer in the journey, but I was able to heal myself. And so much of it was the mind and being able to learn how to meditate. And like you said, and find prayer and breath work and all these different sound frequencies to listen to and all these different things that I was able to tap into to heal myself fully, mentally, emotionally, physically and spiritually, and move forward, and even so much so that I had like massive cystic acne that manifested from everything I went through with postpartum depression. And what you're speaking to, that, emotional energy, being able to heal that and have it actually go away.
Yeah, good for you. And that's positive thinking on your part.
Yeah.
And that's mind over, you've heard the term mind over matter. What does that mean? That means your scalar thoughts over matter, because first comes the thinking or the instructions, then will produce creation.
Right.
Thinking, scale, instructions, then the universe, then physical reality.
Right. And this is what people mean, right, when they say your thoughts create your reality. And they don't mean one thought that you have in that day, but the continuous thoughts that you have will create your physical reality, whether you're aware of what you're creating or not.
Right, exactly. And this is why we have such credence now to the fact of positive thoughts, positive affirmations. Be amongst people of goodwill, good cheer. Don't put yourself in a negative situation. Avoid people who are negative or avoid people who are dangerous. You want to surround yourself with positive affirmations. What is scalar energy? It's God's affirmation. It's perfect coherence. It's perfect intelligence. So I have an instrument that works with perfect intelligence. So the outcome is always perfect.
Yeah, amazing. So cool. So for those that are listening or watching and are like super intrigued right now, wanting to check this out, I'm going to put the free trial, of course, in the show notes. So if they sign up, what can they, kind of expect that maybe you could explain that, they'll be receiving by doing this free trial to really step into what this scalar energy and healing and is all about?
The website allows anybody in the world to email a photograph. We will work with your photograph, treat your quantum field for free for 15 days. And in so doing, we balance your brain waves and your chakras, your meridians. We will target microbes, destroy, eliminate microbes, and we'll also create nutrients, amino acids, antioxidants, minerals, etc. So that's a 15-day program of chakra balancing, microbial cleanse, and nutrient program. We work with you 24 hours a day. And after 15 days of experiencing those sessions on a daily basis, the greater majority of people feel better. Many people feel great. So we'd like to prove it to you that this works. This is a new science. It's never been done before. Don't try and find a textbook on this. There is no textbook. How do we prove it? By you experiencing it. It's never been done before. I invented this process. So how do I prove it? By you and your thoughts and your expressions. So you're on the ground floor of a new science, and you are going to prove this to mankind.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and so people know from listening and watching, I've been experiencing it, and I've been noticing even just mindset wise and just feeling lighter. And so Tom was gracious enough gifting my whole family, for myself, my husband, my girls, my even my pets. And we sent photographs of each individual family member, including the pets, over to receive this. And I get emailed updates of this is the trinity of mind, of spirit, and it really breaks down for you of like what Tom was saying of like you received this with your chakras today, this was this and release this. And it's really cool when you get to read and break down all the different things that it's doing each day, and it's different things each day.
Yes, yes. And you're right. Every day we send out an email, we want people to understand. So we're trying to explain this. Again, this is a new science. With the exception of Tesla and Hieronymus, it's never been done before.
Yeah. So cool that you're like pioneer on, the other side of it, and kind of getting to further Tesla's work, because obviously Tesla had much bigger plans.
Yes, he did. His inventions were suppressed later in his life. This technology to this day, Ali, is still suppressed because it's free energy. And
Yeah,
the powers that be do not want free energy from the stars.
right. Because you take away their money and their power and their control and everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now imagine if we can institute this free energy paradigm, it's going to solve so many problems. I
No
know
kidding.
as we're recording this, gas prices are just going through the roof. Well, for various reasons. But if
Yeah.
Tesla had a car that would run on star power, and
Oh,
he was
wow.
never able to, yeah, he was, this car would run and was very efficient, and it did not have any combustion engine. He was able to tap into star power. So in the future, we will have scalar energy cars. We'll duplicate what Tesla was doing.
That's so cool to think in the near future that we'll have actual Tesla energy and
And we
free energy,
need
and
that.
so different from what obviously it's been for so long. So cool. So before I let
This
you
is
go,
the world that we're coming into.
yeah, amen. I mean, I've been saying that to everyone. I'm like, this is the world we're coming into. It's why we're seeing, in my opinion, so much darkness. It's why we're seeing so much exposure of so many systems. So much has to essentially come up and collapse in order for us to move forward into what you're saying, into this new age of consciousness, to be able to step into free energy and all these things that really, God and Source wanted us to have from the beginning, that's been suppressed for so long, and it's kind of a crazy but beautiful time to be alive.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I call scalar energy the architectural blueprints of the universe. In other words,
Wow.
before you build a house or a factory, you have blueprints, instructions. That's what scalar energy serves as, the instructions, the directions, the intelligence of the universe. First the intelligence, then the constructions.
Wow. The architectural blueprint of the universe. That's powerful.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Well,
Imagine
thank you.
what a scalar energy instrument can do. You're right.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, thank you so much for sharing all this, Tom. Before I let you go and we wrap things up here, is there anything else you'd want to share about scalar energy, or, for people to know or to understand? Obviously, you really want people to come experience this. Use the link, in my show notes that will be for you to go get your 15-day trial. I highly recommend you guys do this. You have nothing to lose and you get to experience something groundbreaking, like
I
Tom
appreciate
said,
it.
and literally, a newer groundbreaking science. So like jump in and experience it. What a gift. But anything else, Tom, before I let you go?
Thank you for the opportunity, and people get on board. This is a grassroots movement, and with people, we will change the world. I'm going to avoid what I consider evil governments and evil corporations. I'm going to keep this with the people. So I need your help.
Yeah, that's right. We, the people, are what's going to make the change. 100%. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Well, thank you so much, Tom, for sharing this. And thank you for, gifting it to my family as well. It's been so cool to get to experience. And I look forward to learning even more about this. And thank you for sharing the instrument with us and how it all works. I think this has been so fascinating, and also like just so cool to teach people about, because even I'm learning way more from this episode than I got to, learn from the website. And of course, everything will be in the show notes, guys, the trial, as well as the website to go learn about Tom and scalar energy and other questions you might have to support, to share all about this. Because like Tom said, we need all of us as our, human
Yes.
collective to come together to really make this difference and to bring free energy. So thank you so much, Tom. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. Love, light, and blessings to everyone. And I hope that this really helped awaken something within you, activate something within you. As you can see, Tom is a pioneer on this side of the whole awakening of what's happening, and it's amazing. And I hope you guys got so energized from it. So thank you, and everything will be in the show notes, guys. Bye.